So, off the Lanterns, I heard, rumor has it, Death Eater wasn't really going to be on the album. Did you guys have some issues with it?
Yeah, it was the last song recorded because I didn't have the verses done. Mm-hmm. And I wanted it to be, well, I only figured I could only just scream through the verses because it was pretty heavy musically. But I didn't want to do that, so I couldn't come up with anything good melodically. So it just took like a while. And then I guess it was probably like the least prepared song. And we were like stuck on it, like, well, maybe it's not gonna make the record, which I didn't really care, to be honest. At the time I didn't. Like now I'd be like, whoa, how the hell did that thing not almost make the record? I mean, it's the first song we released. We open with it. I mean, it's it's crazy that it almost didn't make it. But yeah, it was close because I just couldn't figure anything out that I thought was good enough to put on there. So I almost scrapped it, but thankfully.
So did it change like aggressively, or did you just need to add stuff?
Yeah, no, I just had, originally in my head I had a scream. Okay. Only for it, like just scream vocals through the whole damn song, which really made it just kind of the same damn thing the whole way through. Okay. And I hate that. So when I figured out how to incorporate both of them in the verse, then it seemed to work out.
Okay. And this album, I think, do you want to...
Well, I just think they're going to get loud.
You want me to sit there? Okay. The album, you guys are progressing. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something that is so different from prior albums, in my opinion. Like, I think it's a whole progression from what you were doing before. Did you guys go into it looking at it differently, like to make this album, or was it? I know you guys wrote together this time, right? Yep. So did that make it different, or like how are you guys being amazing still?
Thank you. I don't know. I think there really is there's not been one album that we thought, okay, we're gonna do this and then do that. We just do what we do. It's like there's no directional, except for with Collisions and Castaways. I think there was a thing like, let's just be like, try and make it really heavy. And so we had fun with just like not being over analyzing parts and things like that. We just like, oh, that would be a sweet metal part, let's do that. Whereas, which was strange because that was the last record with Thomas. And he was so anti that kind of stuff prior to that. So we were just like, yeah, go with it, dude. Let's just finally do like a bunch of double bass. And so, but even then, to back up what I was saying, I mean, there really is never any initial, other than just trying to be like a hard rock, moody metal band. Like I like that. And that's the vibe that them, Alice in Chains, like I love that kind of vibe. So I think we kind of tiptoe in those things unconsciously.
Do you feel the last two albums though, you have grown as a band? Because I think listening to everything, the last two albums, you guys have matured and kind of progressed kind of a little more. Do you feel that same way, or do you think it's just an all natural?
I think that I went through some really shitty years, and both of those albums reflect that time vault and chapters of my life that were really I really struggled, and that's the only thing I really realized about those two albums. I don't really say like, oh yeah, we're so much better musically or whatever, but in turn there was so much personal strife going on for me that I think that I know for me lyrically those albums probably have a little bit more
therapeutic.
That, and just I listen to those songs and I can tell I know exactly where I was, what my life was like, and it sucked. So that's the only thing I really know really well about those albums, but because that's my job, that's my department, is the lyrics and the vocals, and so But hopefully, yeah. I mean, all these years, hopefully, we're getting much better at, honing our sound.
Yeah.
I think still to this day, we have some, love it or hate it. We stand out a little bit in our genre of music, whatever we are. We sound different than the rest of the guys.
So you can't classify yourself still?
I think we can. We're a hard rock metal band, We love the two of them, and we were never a hardcore band. We were never a punk band. We were never a rap band.
Right.
Although we were called all those things, and at some point that becomes irrelevant anyway, to me. But yeah, hard rock metal band. That's what we are. Rock and roll band.
All right. And this is his second album with you, right?
Yeah.
How has he enhanced your writing, do you feel?
I think there's less restraints with Kyle. There used to be rules and things that we weren't allowed to do. And it was a personal preference to Thomas. It's not a diss. He just had a different mindset than we did when it came to things like that. We wanted to be able to do, I think we just wanted it to be simpler and more like just straightforward rocking, which we did a lot more on this album. And the reason I know that is because we played 5 songs off the new album before the record, before anybody even heard, well, other than Death Eater. And that's strange to do. And but every night I noticed everyone was able to just, even though they never heard it, they could bob their head to it.
Yeah.
Myself included, I am so bad at math, and anything that gets off the 4/4 time signature always trips me up, and they laugh about it and they think it's fun, and oh yeah, this is gonna be hard for Brock. So this record being pretty straightforward rockin', I think it's better. I think it's better than the stuff that went over people's heads or shouldn't have gone anywhere near their ears anyway, because it was like more about the part as opposed to the whole song. And I think that's what we kind of were doing before. And with Kyle, he's just a straight up rock drummer. I mean, he'll play anything. He's awesome, and he learned a lot from Thomas. I mean, Thomas is one of his favorite drummers, so we're very similar. I think, just to answer your question, I just think there's a lot less restraint. Kyle will do whatever. Okay. And Thomas and Steve butted heads sometimes on things, and but that's all right. Everybody does that. Right. What I'm getting at is I'm not dissing Thomas. I love him to death. He's one of the greatest drummers of the world.
He's still a big part. I mean,
he's our brother.
100% into you guys.
He's an incredible supporter. Far beyond what I thought he would be when he quit the band. Thomas is just such a happier person these days. He hated touring in the end, and in turn, it was hard for everybody because it's a thing that it's not for everybody. Right. It's a grind. You got to coexist. And when he quit the band, I actually thought we were probably going to be done because we'd all been in the band together for so long. I mean, I was in a band with Thomas before 36. So him and I have been playing music together well over 20 years. He was in this band for 18 years. So getting Kyle, he breathed a lot of life into our band.
No, did Steve find him?
Well, we knew him.
Oh, all right.
We knew him. We knew he played in bands in Portland that opened for us whenever we would play, and we knew he was a super young, badass drummer. But Steve and him were jamming shortly after Thomas quit, and our band was sort of like not talking. We weren't sure what we were doing. My mom had cancer, and I wasn't really caring anything about anything other than that. So, Steve and Kyle kind of started the band together back.
Okay. Now on this album too, I find that you're kind of singing more or getting that element into the band. Is that something that you wanted to go forward with in the past?
I wanted to sing more because I think ultimately it's what separates our band from other bands. Some people hate my voice, some people really dig the voice, but beyond both of those sides, my voice is different, and so it makes us sound different than, say, the bands that we love but are in the same group with like Killswitch and whomever else. But you know what I mean? So I wanted to be more like. I think it makes our band unique, and that was pretty. And you know, screaming. Everybody's screaming all the time. I mean, I still scream.
Right.
But I wanted to be able to get better at my craft, and I started screaming. I mean, I started singing initially anyway, so I wanted to get back to that a little more.
Now, was that a struggle for you, or do you find it easy to?
No, I'm way better at
Coexist,
singing
yeah.
than screaming. So, yeah, I'm not really that great of a screamer, to be honest. So I'd rather sing through that. And I think it's cooler when you can have a clean singing voice over something super heavy musically. So, I mean, that's not always done. So I think that's more of a challenge for me anyway.
All right. And you and Steve have been working together for a very long time.
Yeah.
Where do you think his growth has progressed in the 23 years? 23 years? Where do you think he has evolved or progressed?
I mean, in all facets of this. I mean, he pretty much drives the ship. You know, he records, he mixed and mastered. Or he didn't master this album. He mastered some of it. It was then turned into a different mix. But he produced, engineered, mixed the album, and he has done the last 4, I believe. He's just a great. He always says he's not a good guitar player, but he's an awesome guitar player. And I think even his leads, which he doesn't think he's good at that. He's done more on the last couple albums than maybe ever. Right. So I think he's getting more comfortable with that probably. But just as a songwriter, I mean, I don't know. For me, he's all that matters. For me, I tried to write songs for fun with other people. And it's such a weird thing. I just have such a connection with Steve, musically and otherwise, that, I mean, he's awesome. He's just a really talented dude. He's a pain in the ass, but he's a talented dude. And I love playing music with him. I mean, I've had a wonderful career of seeing the world and playing music with Steve. And, we've known each other since we were, 17, 18 years old. So yeah, he's a really come a long way in a lot of not just the guitar playing, but I think in the whole recording process. I think he's underrated for that stuff. I think. I mean, a lot more bands should be going to him. He's got a sweet setup in Portland. It's very comfortable, and he does crack the whip. I mean, he's not easy, but he should be utilized more in I think this genre because he's affordable.
Yeah. Now, did he do most of the producing and stuff for this album?
All of it, yeah.
All of it?
Yep.
Okay. And do you guys like that better? Because he's in the band and there's not an outside person?
Because we did albums with other guys, and it was always this, I don't know. We had such a gang mentality back in the day, coming from where we came from, that any outside influence, it always seemed like it was something that we never jived with. Whatever, and then we'd be like, well, let's just try it. And then we're like, well, that's not us. What are we doing here? Right. And so there was always those things. For the last 3 albums or whatever that he's done, there's never that. Because whatever we're attempting to try isn't something that's not us. And who knows us better than us, right? So I like doing it. I'm not saying we'll never do it with another person, but I don't really see why we would. But you never know. You might need something to switch it up someday. And,
Now, does he write the music and then bring it to you, and you kind of put lyrics over it?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
all right, so he does the first part, and you kind of do the second part.
Yeah, well, I do kind of the last part, but
The last part.
because the other two put their 2 cents in, and
Yeah.
But initially, Steve does everything. He puts the bass down, he puts the drum machine down for the demos, and then those guys are free to put on their own stuff, obviously. But he just does it for idea base.
Okay.
And he sends me that, so I get that stuff pretty immediately, and then it doesn't change too much from there on to the. I mean, of course, some things do, of course, but for the most part, Steve kind of lays down the roadmap.
Okay. And now for this new album, did you take anything from the last album, or do you guys usually write this is new, this is what we're gonna write?
Always that, yes, except for this album does have something weird. The last song on the album, Dark Corners, was from the last album, but I didn't have the verses written. so we just didn't put it on the last album. And we were in the studio, and he was like, dude, remember this? And we were like, whoa. It just had the choruses. And somehow I think I listened to it one night or something. I was like, oh, I think I got something for it. And we did it, so we put it on at the end.
Okay. All right, but
Usually we don't have leftover stuff.
Brand new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and I've been everywhere looking for it, and I can't find it. The bonus tracks. What did you guys put on for extras? Was it covers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alice in Chains song and 2 Misfits songs.
Okay. Now, is that just in the States? Is it overseas?
Yep. To be completely honest.
Do you have it tonight?
No. It's a Best Buy exclusive.
Okay.
So that's the only place you can get it, and all I hear, well, we went and got it in Philly. Okay. So
I can't find it anyway.
Yeah, and then we've seen a ton of messages about that. And I talked to label last night at the Jersey show, and they were just like, it's the state of retail these days. It's like, well, when we went and got ours, it wasn't out, and it was Monday, and the record came out Friday. We went Monday, and they were like, no, we don't have that. And they looked in their computer, and they're like, oh, we do have it. Dude came back like 20 minutes later, found it in the back. We were like, great, awesome.
Okay.
It's awesome that it's in the very back instead of out front.
So it's out there, but
I think it's like, for some reason, I didn't ask this question. It's Best Buy exclusive, but maybe it's just certain Best Buys.
Okay.
I didn't ask because there's been so many people that are like, oh, I got it here, and then other people are like, dude, I went to 4 and they weren't there. So I don't know.
Well, I know Newberry Comics
has
it in their system. They just didn't have it where I went to go get it.
They have the bonus one?
They have the bonus one. So
see, that's the other thing. Like, all I know is we actually didn't even know about it. To be good. I mean, I knew there was going to be a Best Buy something.
Yeah.
I did not know that they were putting those covers on.
Okay.
Until afterwards.
Okay.
Because I had to do a video that said, go to Best Buy and get the 3 new bonus tracks. And I was like, what the hell are the bonus tracks? Because I knew what it was. But there's actually 3 Misfits songs, but they only put 2 on and then the Alice in Chains one. So I was confused on it, and it actually caused a little bit of unhappiness between a certain member in our band that recorded all this. So would you like water?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Anyway, just because we didn't know and everybody's asking us these questions.
So was the cover that you recorded something you did right after the album was done?
We did it during the time.
Okay.
Same time.
All right. Any reason why you chose those songs to cover?
Well, the Alice in Chains one I wanted to do. The 2 Misfits songs, I'm not on. It's Steve Sandler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the other reason why he was just like, we didn't really know that stuff was going on there. We knew the Alice in Chains thing was going to the Metal Hammer compilation. That's how that was. That's what that came out for.
Okay.
But the Best Buy thing, I don't know. But we got the record here, but we don't have the bonus tracks.
Okay. All right. And how do you feel about vinyl being out? Because I have your vinyl right here, and you're gonna sign it,
cool.
And I'm gonna love it. But how do you feel that your album's out on vinyl now?
Yeah, I'm stoked on that. Because,
isn't that crazy?
Just for me personally, I think it's so cool that you have them in your house, you know.
Right.
We don't have it for Rest Inside the Flames or Snowcap, but we did have it for Bitterness just recently. A Russian company put it out. I don't even know how that even happened, but we got them sent to us, and it's really cool. Anyway, so and then since the time it's Takers, I believe, to now we have all that. Yeah.
I have to go find that then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and you just shot a video for Death Eater or Better to Burn?
We shot a video for Better to Burn and for Wars to Walk Away From. The Death Eater one is just a lyric video.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's out there.
The one you did in North Carolina.
The one we did in Virginia.
Yeah, whatever.
Wars. We did Better to Burn in Anchorage.
Oh.
This summer.
When's that coming out? Is it out?
This week.
Oh.
Or no. Must be next week.
Is that like a live video or is it a
it's
concept?
performance. It's
okay.
Performance.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
All right. All right. So Death Eater is just lyric.
Just
nothing
lyrics.
else.
Yep. My buddy from high school did a lyric video for us.
I saw that.
And he did did that for Time and Trauma too. And then some friends of ours in Anchorage did the Better to Burn video, and then we did the one with Justin Wright just last week in Virginia for Doors.
So how long has Better to Burn been out for a while? Did you release it as a single?
Yeah.
For how long?
Like 2 weeks maybe on Spotify.
Oh, alright. That's like my favorite.
That was the second release after Debbie.
Okay, alright.
And then Wars came out like street week of the album.
Oh.
So that came out like on the Monday of the release week.
How do I not know this?
I barely know.
You guys are going way too quick.
Yeah, there was a marketing plan, but I wasn't really paying attention to it all that well. But
Okay, alright. So other than that, you went kind of lyrically, the last 2 albums, kind of inside yourself to find lyrics, but you're still very vague in your lyrics, which I love because it gives us something to kind of put on top of. Do you think that you're connecting with fans more because you went so into yourself? Or do you think it's just a growth of your songwriting? Or
well, I don't know if I remember doing this more on the other albums, but on the last 2.5 months of touring, speaking to people every night, I mean, how much our music has helped certain people in their lives. I mean, that's incredible, and because that's what it is for me. So I think that maybe everybody has their low points, and our music is full of those kind of stories, I think, but with some sort of sense of hope, you know. So I think people need that and can relate to that, and music has always been saving me. So I guess I'm meeting people that I can relate to in that sense.
Alright, so after this tour, are you guys taking a break? I know you're going overseas.
Not till January.
Okay. Are you headlining overseas?
Yeah.
Is that your first time headlining, or have you headlined before?
We've headlined every year except for our first time over in 2001. Yeah, we never support anybody over there because it's too good. It's too good for us there. That, I mean, it's where we make our money, you know. So if there was an opportunity to support someone bigger than us, though, we would take it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would. We just have such a loyal fan base over there that we don't really need it. I mean, it's totally different than here.
Do you think you've grown in the States though?
A little bit.
A little?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, certain places that we haven't been to in a while, like Philly the other night.
Yeah.
Philly was insanity. It was so awesome. Brooklyn was awesome. Jersey was awesome last night. So, like, those places are always good, but we hadn't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, definitely Philly, I think it had been 8 years. So we definitely didn't lose any fans. That was great. But it's still not that great for us in the States. We're trying, but it's just, I don't know, for whatever reasons, we've always struck a chord bigger outside this country.
Now, is this the first time you're playing Rhode Island?
No. We played here on the first tour with Chimera, God Forbid, and Diecast.
Okay, but it's been
And I think it's been since 2002.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, and somebody will remind me tonight, because I think we haven't played since 2002. They're like, bullshit, you played blah, blah, blah. That's what happens all the time.
I don't think, usually I go to see you in either Mass or Connecticut or something, so
Right.
here, not really, so.
Where's New Bedford?
That's where I live.
What city's that? What state is that?
Mass.
Oh, that's Mass.
Why, you're playing there?
No, but we did. They had a strip club on the other end of the building.
Are you shitting me?
It's called, like, somebody's name.
Maybe. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it's
though.
long. It was when we
Yeah.
were with Devil Driver Napalm Death,
Oh,
like in
all right.
2008 or something. But I knew that was in this area.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes away.
It's really close then.
Yeah. All right. So, well, I've seen a lot of people from your first album when I loved you guys, and I had to like fight people because they were like, no, they suck. And I was like, no, they don't. And now they're coming to your show tonight, and I'm like, oh, I thought they sucked. And they're like, no, they're amazing. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. But anyway.
Growing pains.
No, it just annoys me because they used to say you sounded like a goat, and I used to get pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. All right. So 23 years in a band. What does that even like? Looking back on it, are you amazed? Are you astonished? Are you grateful? What are you right now?
Yeah, all those things. For sure.
Did you think it was gonna last?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I ever really thought about it. It just became what we do. And it's funny, we were hanging out with a bunch of buddies last night that used to be in a band called Agents of Man.
Yep.
And we toured with them with Candiria in like 2003. And maybe a couple tours. But I was thinking how great it was to see those guys last night. And they were just like, man, I can't believe you guys are still doing it. It's so awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought about it today. And anytime I see people like that, not these guys specifically, but now they're doing their thing, like they got jobs and kids and family in it, and they just kind of look bummed out because this is a lot of fun, and I know that, it's not easy to do this because there's not a lot of money in this, but I am thankful that I am still doing this because I could be just like those dudes, I pretty much was trying to figure out something else also, and everybody has to. You have to be able to pay the bills, right?
Right.
So I'm just glad that I'm still being able to tour, number one, see the world. We just booked Africa again in April, so I never dreamed I was going to go there, and South America also when we went there last year.
You guys played Australia?
Oh yeah, a bunch.
Yeah.
We're going there at the end of the European tour.
Okay.
We've been to Australia probably like 6 times. It's incredible. Incredible. I can't wait to get back. Actually, all the press I've done, the majority of it has been in Australia.
Over there.
I don't know why, but it's been a lot on Australia. But yeah, I'm grateful, and when I talk to everybody at night, I don't take it lightly on how our band has affected us and connected us together. You and me, we're friends because of this. So I love that, and I think that what we've got to do, coming from where we've come from, is definitely not normal, and it's super special.
And coming from Alaska.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not many bands that can say, hey, I came. Now, did you ever think of moving out of Alaska to somewhere else?
We did. Yeah.
You did? Personally?
Yeah, I did originally.
Okay.
In the beginning, in 1996, we moved to Seattle. I wasn't 21 yet, so we couldn't get any shows because at that time I was the youngest in the band.
Yeah.
And then but we had some friends that moved down to Portland, and they're like, dude, come down here. There's like New Music Mondays at the time was the most famous club in the West Coast, which was called Satyricon. Okay. It's not there anymore, but it was a killer place. We moved down. We started playing like every Monday night at like 1 a.m. to like us and the janitor, and then I stayed there till 03, and I moved back in 03, and then I had a problem being gone the whole time. All my friends were in Alaska, other than my band, and we met a bunch of cool people in Portland that are my dear friends still today.
Right.
But my life was Alaska, and I always just felt disconnected anywhere else. So when I moved back in 03, I wasn't moving anywhere else.
But you make it work.
Yeah, it's just a 3-hour flight to Portland.
That's it. All right, we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Are you ready to play this game?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I've taken all your albums. I personally wrote down my favorites of the album, but we're going to go one by one through the album. When I say the album, you're going to tell me what your thoughts are now on that album and your favorite song off the album.
Oh, boy.
Oh. All right, so 2002, Bitterness. What do you think about Bitterness now in 2017?
I mean, I have a lot of fond memories, but because it was the original, introduction to everything. It was like we were doing all on our own releases. Like we had, the 2 cassettes, and then we had a full length. But I mean, we went to New York for our first time when we got signed to Roadrunner, and then next thing you know, we were like living in upstate New York for like 2 months, recording it on a farm. There was the man that owned the studio. It was called Millbrook Sound, Paul Orofino, just the coolest dude. I haven't seen him since. I don't even know if he's still alive. But I had these late night conversations with him, and he was like, you couldn't put a Coors Light on his bar. He was all craft beer back then, like long before the explosion. And I remember that, like, having these deep talks with him about, he was friends with all the Kiss guys, like, Blue Oyster Cult, Kiss had all recorded where we were recording, so it was like a pretty legendary place. And just those stories that I remember, and lightning and thunderstorms that I wasn't used to because we don't have that in Alaska. And they were massive, like loud boomers, and I was like, whoa. I got a lot of fond memories of it just because it was the introduction. Musically, it's a mixed bag because some of the songs were written in 1997. Some of them were written in 2000, came out in 2002. So I think it's like kind of misguided maybe, or just immature at times. But that being said, as I've gotten older, I never listened to it ever. Never.
Really?
No. And we only play 1 or 2 songs ever off the record.
Okay.
We could play more now. I wouldn't mind playing some more. Like, we never play like 8 Minutes Upside Down. I love that song.
That's okay.
And my best buddy back home, Billy, like, he asks for that every time we come home, and we usually do play it for him.
Yeah.
Which is funny because his favorite song on the new record is "Damage Under Sun," and it has a very similar thing, one piece of it, to 8 Minutes, which we laughed about. But anyway, yeah, that's about all I can remember. But I mean, it started everything for us. It's the reason we were able to go anywhere outside this country, because that album was pretty big in the UK. So they started the whole chain of reaction for us.
Well, I still think All I Am is the best off of that. And I remember Thomas saying to me, I hate that fucking song.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite. All right. So, Snowcapped. What do you remember about that? And what's your favorite song? Ah.
Off Snowcap?
Yes.
With Nothing Underneath, I think it's my favorite song off that record.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Waterhall? No?
Yeah, Waterhall's cool.
Oh,
I like Waterhall.
it's amazing.
I think in a strange way, I think our band would be a little bit bigger if Snowcapped was the debut, because it was better received by the press, by people, and it didn't have the nu metal tag on it and I don't know if you remember this, but when Bitterness came out, the whole thing was being compared to Glassjaw the whole time.
Yeah.
And I never saw that. I still to this day don't see it. I don't know how the vocal comparison was ever there, but it was, every article was that the Palumbo-esque vocals of Brock. I was like, what?
No.
So I always kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But anyway, but Snowcapped seemed to be, and still to this day, seems to be most people's favorite.
Okay. Now, do you play a lot of stuff off of that still?
More than any other album,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And your favorite? Did we say this?
With Nothing Underneath.
Okay. Rust Inside? 2006. So that was a little bit more time to tour for Snowcapped.
Yeah.
Rest Inside. Any.
I remember that we were in Jersey City to record it at Big Blue Meanie, which was also a pretty famous place. Like Madonna did a record there. So anyway, that was, and Jersey City was just an eye-opening place to me. I'd never seen anything like that. It's New York and Jersey and Philly. These places are just different from where I come from. Like no one has any space. Like everybody is on top of each other, and the attitude is so different. And so I think that was a interesting, experience. It was cool though. It was really cool. We did it with Sal Villanueva, who had done, he was in Murphy's Law. He did like Thursday Records and Taking Back Sunday. So he was pretty hook oriented. One of my favorite vocalists of all time, Jonah Jenkins. I am.
There's the 3 cases of coffee filters. Do you want a cooler in here? You want it hotter in here?
That feels good, man. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't lie, Stephanie.
Anyway.
Jonah Jenkins.
Yeah.
So, singer for Only Living Witness is one of my favorite singers ever. One of my favorite lyricists ever. We got him to guest on the record, and that was a trip because we didn't know him. But at that time, you could get on these chat rooms.
Yep.
And I was on an Only Living Witness chat room, and that's how I met him. And he was tripping out that we knew who they were, and we were from Alaska. So I just asked him, excuse me, and he was like, yeah, send me a song. I was like tripping. And he was down. So, and actually in turn, Steve has become friends with him over the years and sees him every time he goes out to Boston because his girl lives out there. So, I didn't really get that relationship with him, but I thought it was pretty special we got to do that with him.
Okay. Favorite song off of that album?
Excuse me. Jeez. I don't even remember the damn track listing.
Well, this is my favorite song. You want me to tell you my favorite song?
Yeah.
Midnight Swim, because it's
Midnight
tattooed
Swim.
on me,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it has to be my favorite.
Midnight Swim. Yeah, that's a good song. We haven't played that in years.
I know. I don't think I've ever seen you play it live.
We did. We used to play it live, but
Not when you came here.
yeah, a lot. It's so weird. Like certain songs like that song, Aurora.
Yep.
That similar sound, we've completely abandoned almost. I mean, there's nothing in our set that's like, there's no Destroy the Map.
Yeah.
We have blood work in there because we got to at least have something that people loved. But we're like the anti of that almost, which is probably the reason we're still where we are. We don't cater to the fans probably as much as we should.
Right.
But at the same time, we got to live with it every day. And I think we have a pretty good balance in the set right now. And I would have no problems playing Aurora or On Any Given Night or Midnight Swim, but it seems like we just haven't. We just haven't played those kind of songs in a while. But we should flip it up and bring them back.
Well, it's a good thing we have it on.
It's
CD,
on the CD for you.
God damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Tide and its Takers. What do you remember about that?
I remember. It was a good writing process. We recorded it in Portland.
Were you together with the band, or
No.
were you sending stuff?
Yeah, I was sending
Okay.
stuff through email. I know my daughter was born right after the album came out, so it was like a lot of real life was happening, preparing for that amazing event. So, I remember I really liked the artwork of it, and I was really involved with that part of it. I'm involved with that part of it mostly anyway, but and I like the title.
Any song that stands out? I'm making you think.
I know. Here's what I'm gonna do.
God damn it! Let me look it up.
I gotta look up. There's so many damn songs. I can't remember what's on what. But let's see. Let's get down to this.
See, I have my favorites here.
Tides record. Oh, yeah, there's some good ones on there.
Are you playing any of them?
We play. We Gave It Hell.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. What
I
about-
was like Northern November,
You did?
but mostly the music of it. Not necessarily my part on it, but I really like the vibe of that song.
Okay. How about Absent?
Yeah, it's heavy. I remember it's heavy. We never played it live.
Okay.
Never.
All right, let's go on.
Yep.
Collisions.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to it.
2010. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
Anything you remember off of that?
Well, just that Thomas had given up on really having all the rules. It was I think it was a more free
Did he
album.
write on that?
Did he
No,
write?
he was gone.
No,
right?
he was in it. That was his last
he
record.
was- okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that record was written up in Alaska. Those guys came up and wrote that album up in Anchorage. So
Okay.
I was around that writing process a lot more than I had been in the previous albums, or the last couple before that anyway. Or at least just Tides, because I was living in Portland, I think, for Rest. No, that would have been 2006. Oh my goodness. My timeline
Your
is-
life.
It's hard to backtrack all this stuff.
I'm sorry.
But Collisions, it's my least favorite record. I think it's it's an album of ours that could sound like pretty much anyone for the most part.
Okay.
It's a metalcore record.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's certain songs on there that are different, but I think for the most part, it didn't have a lot of uniqueness to it.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I don't like it. I mean, I do like it. I listened to it the other day, and I was like, man, I don't give this record very much credit.
You think you could do better?
Well, I just think that it was not there wasn't a tremendous amount of effort on my part. And then I just got in there and did my thing, and that was what we were all feeling like. We were pretty burnt out in the band. I think the band was probably at an all-time low morale-wise on that album. Although we did re-sign with Roadrunner for it in Europe, because Ferret had been bought by Warner, so we were no longer with Ferret. Ferret just put out the Tides record, so I remember it being not the best of times, but we survived those times, and we toured on it till the end of 2010. So we didn't tour on it very long, and then my mom got sick at the end of that year, and Thomas was thinking about quitting, and that was kind of the end of that whole time frame, which I also thought was maybe the end of the band. So I think that whole record kind of reflects that attitude a bit. At least that I remember how I was feeling.
All right, so Time and Trauma.
The Time of Trauma was, like Matt, you were talking about therapy earlier. I mean, it was massive therapy for me. Mick, too, my bass player, he had lost his mom not far after mine. So I think that we all were we probably were extremely close again. And with Kyle being in the band, and I think we were having so much fun being able to start playing music again together, that even though
you guys
they're
took a time off.
yeah,
I mean,
like 2011.
Yeah.
Those guys were writing, I think, into 2013, even though it didn't come out until the 15. And Kyle would probably know better. What is it, Kyle? What is the exact date?
The first song Holt and I wrote together was in June of 2011.
Oh, so Thomas was done in March.
That Tacoma show that I filled in for him, that was October of 10, and me and Holt started jamming and writing right after that. So it was even earlier in June probably.
Yeah. He never forgets dates. It's crazy.
That's good.
So even though it was really heavy content about a bummer, it was a good time for the band. Like, we were excited. We signed a new deal with Spine Farm. The band was back, So and we toured quite a bit on it, a year and a half, I think. And we saw, like I said, we went to South Africa. We went to South America twice. Places we had never been. Mexico City, never been there. So the last album cycle was awesome, and I know that this one's going to be even better, just because it's that album has kind of laid a lot of groundwork for us to progress. It was a real positive step. We got really good tours. I mean, we went on tours that we didn't necessarily fit on, but they were big. I mean, we within this moment, and Five Finger Death Punch, which was a great tour, Kill Switch tour, which was even better than all those. And then we went out with Non-Point too, and that was a lot of fun. So we got an opportunity to play with big radio bands, which we hadn't gotten before. That being said, I realized quickly that In This Moment tour was not where we should be. It's nothing against the band. It's just, you know, you got the front row of full of like junior high girls with their moms or dads, and then you got us, a bunch of 40-year-old dudes yelling at them, and you know, I realized pretty quickly that even though I wanted to be in that active rock radio, and I still do, I mean, it would enhance our band. It would. I mean, you see that happen for bands all the time. If you get on those, you know, Rock on the Ranges and Carolina Rebellion and all that stuff, we need to be on those. But if you don't have a lot of active rock spins, you're not gonna. And so that's why I really did tell management and label, I was like, we want to get on these tours. I want to go out with I mean, I still think we should be out with Shinedown. I mean, I love that band. And but then I really think about it, like, wow, we would probably be pretty weird on that bill. But we were pretty weird on that In This Moment bill too. But they're probably more metal than Shinedown. But
Okay.
anyway.
All right. Favorite song off the last album?
Favorite song off the last album? Probably Marrow.
Me too. That's one of my favorites. Marrow and probably Vanish.
Vanish? Yeah, that was
I
a cool
love
song.
Vanish. But Marrow. Now, who sang on Marrow with you?
That's my friend. Her name's Stephanie Plate.
Okay.
And she sings in a band called Thera from Alaska.
From Alaska. All right.
They're incredible. Check them out. Unreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you feel like that album's your favorite album just due to what you were going through, or?
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite album, to be honest. I mean, not really. I mean, they all have their cool moments, you know. They all their stories and songs that I like. But Time of Trauma was very. I needed it, you know. I needed that music. So I remember it being extremely important to me. But the new album was equally as important for me in different ways.
Right.
So I guess it's just because I'm so far removed from the old ones that I can't really remember the impact other than, you know, certain things that were happening for the band. But the last two albums personally, like I was singing about things that affected me in my life in the old other records, but they weren't nearly as lame and challenging as the last two albums.
But you can hear that too.
I can see it now.
Right.
Like those things that I thought were big
Important,
issues. No way. Not even close. I mean, I've trudged through the mud. And everybody had. I mean, I'm not saying that my story is harder than somebody else's, but for me personally, I went through some real struggles the last few years from, you know, just I got divorced. That was a massive shock to me initially, and I really struggled with that. And I've always been a heavy drinker, you know, so I dove into like substance abuse again in my life, and I've struggled with that throughout my life. And I think that just the things that I was going through, boy, I was not really prepared to combat them the way I probably should have until I was exposed, like on, I think it's okay to be exposed on your bullshit, you know. I mean, everybody has something that they're not good at, and I have a few of them. So, you know, I think it's all right to be vulnerable and embarrassed and ashamed, and then in turn learn to have the hard conversations because nobody wants to air their
dirty laundry.
Yeah, nobody does. I mean, but once I did, I realized who my friends were. They're the same friends I always had, and I needed them really bad, and my family also. And once I kind of did, it helped me like just get the house off my back, you know. I just felt like so anxious and like, oh, what does that person think of me or whatever. It just was a weird place to be in my life. And all the friends that I had that were my wife's friends, are they still my friends? Like, oh, just stuff like that And the weirdest thing is, me and my ex-wife are best friends still.
Right.
I mean, we have a wonderful relationship. But at the time, I was just in such a rut.
In your head too much.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I was also kind of just skating through life like there wasn't consequences. And I didn't have like the inner alarms to be like, you know, you probably shouldn't blow $3,400 at the bar in one night because you think it's cool to buy a round for the bar. And I mean, I would just do stupid shit like that. And I don't know where my head was at times. And it's kind of frightening to me to look back on myself and be like, wow, okay, man, you didn't realize that was not a smart move. But the cool thing is now that I am a few years removed from all that stuff, I'm less fragile. I have a lot more strength to battle these things inside of me. I learned that, you know, depression and anxiety can be helped through, you know, discussion and not keeping it bottled up with people that love you and encourage you and would listen to you and not judge you, but will also put it in your face and be like, yeah, dude, that sucks. You gotta own that. And, you know, I learned a lot about that. And that's the weird journey that we're all on, I think. And that's what I've discovered is that life is weird, man. And it's short, and you gotta, you know, count your blessings and be grateful for what you have and try and become a better person every day. And I think that turning point for me, which was done by a few special people in my life, really helped me get to where I am, like right now.
And off the last album, favorite song?
Off of Time?
No, off of Lanterns.
Oh, after Lanterns? Favorite song? Lanterns. I love Bandage for Promise. I think it's a weird song on there. I don't know, I like all the songs on the new album mostly. My favorite song?
It was my hardest to
See
pick.
and Smoke might be my favorite song.
Oh, that's good too. Alright.
Somebody said I had some glass jaw sounding coarse on that song the other day.
Coming back to haunt you.
I was like, man, we're never getting out of this.
See, I love Sleep Sick.
Yeah?
I don't know, for some reason that song makes me cry. Why?
That's the only song about my divorce on the album, specifically.
Really? Why would it make me cry?
I don't know. Because it's about a shitty time, so maybe that came through, but
no, even driving up here listening to it, I was like teary-eyed. And I'm like, why is this? I have to get into your lyrics a little more and see what is happening there.
Yeah.
But alright.
There's some vague stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. I don't know. I listened to an interview with Kyle, and he said, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, so whatever. So you don't go into discussion with your band, right? About what you're writing about. You just
I mean a little bit. I mean,
but nothing.
Not to Kyle.
Okay.
Really. I mean, he's not really the one that is all that interested in that side of things, I don't think. And I don't really know if any of them are. They kind of just let me do my thing, and everybody has their own. But Steve, I think, is always tuned, probably more in tune, because we do. I mean, I'm doing the vocals with Steve while we're in the studio, so he's looking at the lyrics the whole time, you know, making sure I'm pronouncing words correctly and things of that nature.
All right. Last but not least, your hockey season is upon you. So what are you looking forward to your Flyers?
Well, the season started last night, and they had a great game. I watched the end of it. Beat San Jose, so that was nice. And they play the Kings tonight. They're gonna get it. And I made some fun comments to the crowd in New Jersey last night, and it got booed, and I love that. But playing in Philly the other night was so great because I defend the Flyers my whole life, and everyone hates the Flyers that isn't a Flyers fan. So I'm so used to it. But being in Philly with half the crowd wearing Flyers gear, I was like, these are my people.
Your home,
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to be great. I think they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they have a really good young group. And next couple of years, for sure, they're going to be going deep in the playoffs. This year, I just hope they make the damn playoffs.
Okay.
But
are you a football fan, too?
Niners. Softball.
Oh, you are? Oh. See, I'm a Colts fan, and we just suck. So.
Yeah.
it's whatever. It's whatever. But you're more of a
we're playing.
hockey-
We're playing the Colts on Sunday. Niners Colts.
Yeah, you'll win because we.
Yeah, it's the
suck.
only chance we'll win a game, I think, because we're 0-4. You're 1-3.
Yeah, but that doesn't say much.
Yeah.
We have no quarterback.
Yeah, well, we don't either. I mean, Hoyer's okay, but we got a serious quarterback issue.
But you're more of a hockey guy than anything.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I lived in the San Francisco area for 1 year in 7th grade with my family. We moved for 1 year. My mom wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
So it was right outside of San Francisco. That's how I became a Niners fan, because every restaurant we would go to, place would be nuts, on Sundays or whatever. So in turn, I was just like, because we had never been to a place where they had a pro team.
Right.
And
Somebody in there?
I don't know if anybody's in there. Anyway, yeah, go Niners.
All right. So any last comments? Anything you want to add? Anything we didn't hit on?
Get on that damn floor. I don't know. I don't think so. Just
Hello.
grateful to everyone that's still supporting our band, and coming to the shows and being super cool to us. I mean, really, like on this tour, we've really got to meet some people that are just so into the band, and it's really cool. It's weird at times. Like there was a dude that had Snowcap Romance and West Side of the Flames on his calves, the covers, which I think he was from Brazil. Anyway, but that's been super cool. So we're just grateful to that every night meet and greet in the bar is awesome. And it's not a sanctioned meet and greet. We're just in the bar hanging out.
Of course, that's where you're always at.
Yeah.
All right.